Hi there, it's Lorraine here, back from the Methodist Church, back for a little bit more keeping mentally healthy. Today we're going to continue talking about being unique and all the different ways that we are completely and utterly unlike everyone else. So we are going to be talking today about how we're different in the way that we might act and react to certain situations. A thing may happen, like a fallout in the playground or something like that, or somebody says a comment to you, and how we react to that might be very different. What I'm going to do today is give you a tool to kind of help you understand yourself and other people. So it will kind of help you really understand why you do react in certain ways and why other people react in certain ways, and perhaps why we even, why there's some people we don't get on very well with, or some people we just really get on well with, and understand a little why. And that will help us all get on well together and help us all thrive. Now, I'll tell you what, businesses, charities, organisations, sports teams pay an absolute fortune to have people come in and tell them and do like personality tests which describe this sort of thing. They describe why some people react in certain ways, some people react in other ways, and they might also describe why their team players are having arguments or things like that. And it really helps. And the reason they pay a fortune for this is so that their teams can work well together. So, football teams, anything like that, if they're having arguments off the pitch somewhere, not getting on well, it's going to make them not do very well on the pitch, isn't it? So this is really good. It's also going to help you in the playground, at home, just to be able to sit back and think, oh, that's why they're doing that. Okay. Right. Now, there's all sorts of different personality tests you can do, and they're all absolutely fascinating and really good, and sometimes they're really uncanny. You can go, okay, you asked me a load of random questions and you seem to have got me to a T. That's really bizarre. The problem is with them, it's that they're really hard to remember. So I found one a few months ago that is so much easier to remember. So that's the one I'm going to take you through now. Um, and the reason it's so easy is that there's just four sort of basic type of things to remember, and it's called the elements. It's called path elements. Now it's really great, and like I say, simple to remember. So there's four different elements to remember, and it's kind of linked to the natural world. So if you ever think about what four elements are in the natural world, so you have a think there's fire, water, wind, and earth. Now we all contain bits of that within us, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about what it means for each of that. But we might prefer to act in one certain way. We might be more water or fire, and you'll get what I mean in a minute. But we've got all of those elements within us, and we can choose to act in a certain way, bring one element out of us. That's going to help us in certain situations. I'll explain more, and you'll see what it's all about as I go along. It'll make more sense. Bear with me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through each of these elements at a time. And what I want your teacher to do is to pause the video when I say, to get you to think about what each element might be. So first of all, what I want you to think about is fire. So if I told you, what words come to mind when you think about fire, then you might come up with all sorts of things. So I'll get your teacher to pause the video now, come up with a few words, see what you come up with. Okay, so I'm guessing you come up with things like hot, maybe exciting, dangerous, warm. Let's see what else it might be. oh gosh, all sorts of things. Can be quite explosive. Oh, let me see. Oh, and I've got a list of things here that all these, each element might be like. Let's see. And oh yeah, lots of energy, and people who really like to act in the fire way. You often hear people being described as fiery, don't you? That they may be quite impetuous and reckless and impulsive. They'll be decisive and they'll take risks, and they're quite results driven. So sometimes there's some downside to that. They may kind of tread on a few toes to get where they want to do, but they're very competitive and driven. Okay, so that's fire. So what you might start doing now is thinking, oh, I'm like that, or actually my friend's like that, or one of my family members is like that. And you'll start to see the people around you resembling these things. Okay, next one. So the next one is water. So again, what I want you to do now, pause the video and just have a think about water. What words come to mind when you think of water? Right, so I'm guessing you might have thought wet. Now you might have thought, oh, what else might you have thought? Calm, deep, gentle, though it can be quite ferocious as well, can't it? If if you get to imagine those big waves when it's stormy. So water people, and I've got my list here, can be, well, reflective as well. So it's like a mirror, isn't it? They might think about things deeply, and they might be quite quiet and calm, and they're good listeners, and they're very much focused on people rather than results. So they're good people to have around, and quite transforming as well. They really have a good impact on people around them. Okay, so but they can be quite sensitive as well. They are team players. So can you get an idea now of what these water people might be like? Okay, next one. Next one is wind. Now then, so what words can you think of when you think of the word wind? Now I don't want you to mention beans or trumping. I've already got there first, so you can't have those. Okay, pause the video. Right, so not beans, not trumping, though I'm sure they came up. So wind, you would imagine people with a wind personality. They're ever changing. They're exciting. They're fun. Can just kind of sweep through things like a bull in a china shop, though, I suppose, can't they? Can be quite dangerous. And they tend to not think about long term. It tends to be quite short term, because you go here and then you're there, and then you're quite creative and things as well. Just think about the wind when it blows seeds about to be planted elsewhere. So it can be quite transforming like that, can't it? So all of these sort of words, let me think, are there any other ones I can think that tend not to like routine, but very open, and again, people focused as well. Very flexible, so changeable, so new things come up, they will adapt. And very fun, often very persuasive. So you'll find like salespeople are often quite windy people. Maybe they've been on beans as well. Okay, right, now the last one is earth. So when I say the word earth, what sort of words come to mind? Maybe fire out a few words. Okay, you might want to pause the video now. Okay, so I wonder what words came up. Maybe you had solid, dependable, maybe nurturing, if you think about I'm a gardener, so, I'm thinking all about all the plants grown in there, might be quite nurturing, and not changing, that likes fixed routines and things not to change very much, and that things are very slow and thinking about long term. So unlike fire or wind, which are quite fast moving, earth will be very steady and dependable and very deliberate, and will they will do things properly. Okay, and in a lot of detail. Okay, so they don't like doing things like quick fix. So very grounding as well. They're grounding people to be around you. You know, you feel steady with them. Okay, so it's really interesting, isn't it? All these different elements, and you might have started to see now how you might be. You know, are you particularly a wind or water or earth? About those people around you, I wonder what they are. Now, if you imagine all those elements, you might start to get an idea of why people actually kind of lock horns, or, you know, they come up against each other sometimes and maybe don't get on. Because if you've got someone who says, come on, I want to just go and do this and get this done, and oh, it doesn't matter about all that, like a firewood, that's great. It's leadership, it's initiative, it's fantastic. But an earth person might go, no, we need to do it properly. We need to go through the right way of doing things and do it properly and be much more slow. And the fire would see those earth people as holding them back, and the earth people would see the fire people as just a bit lackadaisical and not caring about anything and not doing things properly. So you can see how people might just, you know, really start off, conflict happens, arguments happen and things like that. So it'd be quite helpful to do an activity. I've got the activity is here now. I've sent this to your teacher. There we go. So it tells you about all the different elements and gives you some of the key words. And what I want you to do is maybe have a think about, maybe if you've got a highlighter or a pencil or something like that, go through some of the words and just have a look, see which ones you think apply to you. And it might be you'll have one or two in one, in fire, say, and maybe lots in earth, and maybe just one or two in water and lots in wind. So what tends to happen is that you will be a combination of all of them, but you prefer to operate or to act in a certain way. Your more likely style, if you like, is to do things a certain way. So if somebody calls you a name, what might you react like? You might just, a water might just go, oh gosh, and be really hurt and be quite deep about it and think about it. A fire might just go, oh, shush. I promised I wasn't going to say a naughty word, but say, oh, go away. Or the earth might just say, doesn't matter. What is the point of that? And a wind might just make a joke out of it. So you can see how there's different ways we might react to different situations. Okay, so, and then you've got some things to ponder on. So I've got another little sheet here. So it asks you, what things sound most like you? So for me, I am very much a wind and a water. So both very strongly. But I'm definitely got quite a lot of earth in there as well. So I used to be an accountant, which needs to be detailed and organised and steady. So it wasn't great that I was doing that all the time for me, because I was much more wanting to be creative and work with people and things like that. So it didn't suit me all the time. But every now and again, I need to go, okay, I need to be earth now because I need to get this job done. So you can see how you might bring out different elements all the time. Okay. So yes, what I want you to do is think about different things you might do. So different ways you might act in different areas. So in the classroom, in the playground, when you're doing a new thing, or you're going to a party, something like that. How do you react in those situations? So sometimes you might prefer to react in a certain way, but sometimes we have to kind of almost force ourselves to act in a different way. So as a water, I don't like conflict. I like everybody to get on well, But every now and again, I have to wade in and sort out arguments and conflict. It's not my favourite thing to do, but every now and again, I will go in and harness that and sort out that and make myself do it. So it's not my preferred way of doing it. I much prefer everybody to work together and get along well, but I do it when I need to, and I have to kind of harness my inner earth and fire and go and do that. Okay, so now also, what about the people around you? What do you think they are? Are there some people that you never seem to quite get on well with? And maybe this will help you understand a little why that might be. And also maybe there's some people that you really get on with. Maybe this will help you understand why actually you really get on with them. Okay, so what I want you to take from this now, actually, it's just fun and a bit interesting. I love doing personality things like this. I find it really fascinating. So just a bit of fun. Find that out, but hopefully it might give you a little bit of an idea of how perhaps we can get on with each other better. So now I'll give you an example. When I did the not exactly training, but I heard about this. I went to a conference and I heard about this. There was a lady explaining about a particular company she was working with, and they were having a real problem with their team. When customers came in, the customer service wasn't really very good. It was a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't. And she spoke to the team. So it turns out that most of the team were fire signs. So if an angry customer came in, they would start explaining what was wrong, and the fire signs would all be, well, down, and tell them all off and just create this big explosive argument. And once they understood what was happening, they went, I see. So the instructor said, now, what do you think you should do? And they went, we'll send in Jenny, who's a water sign, more of a water element, and we'll send her in and she can deal with the customers because she's going to be more people focused and diplomatic and calm, and she'll calm the situation down. And the instructor said, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's right. But what are you going to do if Jenny's not there? Okay, they said, we just think, what would Jenny do? So they've kind of got it, and they've just gone, okay, in some situations, although that's not my natural way of doing things, I need to kind of harness that other element, which is in there somewhere, because we've all got elements of all of us in there. Bring it out sometimes. Okay, so it's all quite interesting. I hope you have fun with it. And if you've got any more questions about this, I'm sure I can give you lots more information. Okay, take care. See you next time.